Hello and welcome back to Founders and Legends 2. I'm your Dungeon Master, Luke Gygax. For our final game, Game 3, today I'm joined by some amazing all-star players here, and several of them are pretty well-known Dungeon Masters. And I'm going to be honest with everybody. This is the first time I have run 5th edition in a public setting. Yeah! Typically, I run 1st edition like Stefan does, and that's kind of my lingua franca. That's what I know like the back of my hand. But I figured that for Game 3, I would get out of my comfort zone. I would do 5th edition with these guys, and I figured, well, you know, go big or go home. So why not just bring a couple really super skilled DMs here to play with me? We got my good friend Matt Mercer from, may have heard of him, he's a voice actor. He also does this thing called Critical Role.
Yes.
Another gentleman here who knows a little bit about GMing. He also does a stream, Chain of Archon, as well as some did a couple GM YouTube videos, I think, as well. Matt Colville.
Yeah.
I have never played in Kyle's game, but I'm sure he's a skilled dungeon master when he does run. But Kyle is here. He played with him. I've DM'd for Kyle before when so. That's really like my safety. That's like my safety net over here, so I feel more comfortable. Then we have Eric Jordan, Idle Champion fan. TJ Storm. He has DM'd a couple times and done some streaming things just a little bit. So apparently he DMs more than he plays all the time. So I've always had the good fortune of playing with you, but someone whispered in my ear and said, "Yeah, TJ's actually pretty darn sharp at the whole DM thing."
Yeah, he is.
And then there's this very talented young lady down here, Hi. Deborah and Woll. And she has a little show called Relics and Rarities.
Yep, Relics and Rarities. Check that.
And so they're here to keep me straight so that I don't make any mistakes. But if I do, we're here for a couple purposes, and one of the main purposes we're here is to raise money for Extra Life, and that's why these people are really here to help us raise money for Extra Life. So every time I need a lifeline to one of these awesome players that are helping me, I will go ahead and I will throw $20 into the Extra Life jar. You at home are welcome to do the same thing, so that we can get over the hump there and raise maximum amount of money for Extra Life. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I adapted this adventure from a module I wrote for GaryCon a few years ago, and it takes place in the world of Okarim, which is a setting I designed after getting back from my last tour in Iraq. So it's a blighted desert scenario. It was a once lush land, and they did some sort of terrible cataclysm. The wrath befell them, and it is like a melted stone and black sands and all sorts of horrible stuff throughout much of the land. However, the very beautiful and ancient city of Shintufi still stands, and it is kind of a cross between think of like Greyhawk or Fatford and Grey Mauser. So it's a huge old city. It's a mix of the current peoples who are there and their architecture, their skill level at building is much more squat mud huts and these fantastic towers that with huge spires at the top, multiple colored brass and gold that no one knows how to build anymore, but they're occupied by certain powerful folks. And even some of the mechanisms still work there to lift the platform up to the top so you don't have to go upstairs and things like that. But these are a lost magics to most people. You are all probably middling operatives in the underworld of the city of Shintufi. All of you, vast majority of you have some roguish ability, and certainly have have some ties to the underworld. So, all of you have your reasons for being on the hunt for a job, whether it be a gambling problem that some of you may have. Maybe some of you have accidentally killed someone in a bar fight that they shouldn't have and now have to pay for some resurrection to someone important. Or perhaps you're just haunted by strange dreams and are seeking powers and ways to get the voices out of your head. Whatever your reasons are. You all saw a parchment posted outside of an establishment earlier in the day outside of Babar's House of Scimitars, which is actually a fence. And it was written in the common script announcing a mundane marriage announcement of some kind, but hidden inside in the thieves' cant of Shintupi, there was the message: urgent job, experienced blade work and spellcasters, great danger, greater reward. So after establishing proper recognition symbols with the proprietor of Babar's House of Scimitars, you got the information. It said, go to the Gorgon, a tavern located on Coiled Cobra Lane, on the edge of the foreign quarter, near the bustling Souk Kabar, which is a great open market area. And obviously, times have been tough for you and you need the money for very urgent reasons. So you decided that you would go there. All of you arrive at the Gorgon separately, a few minutes early. You guys want to be punctual. And you are ushered into a back room by a tough-looking, gentleman with the scimitar wielding, the sleeves off, vest, the whole thing. Obviously a tough. And you are ushered into this back room, and there are several small stuffed leather stools and some beaten brass tables for you to sit down upon. And as you are ushered in there, the servant brings in some tea and pours it for you and hands you each tea and then leaves. And you have a few moments there to look at each other and see what you see. And if you'd be so kind as to maybe start on our left here.
Sure. So there's a very large presence standing next to me, and from behind his leg sneaks this 3-foot-tall, kind of lithe little halfling. And you see my eyes are like smudgy eyeliner and stuff, and I kind of lean up against his leg and I say, hey, I'm Cheery. I'm his bodyguard. Sup, bitches?
It is true. She guards me. But together, we are powerful. My name is Zil Ashe. I am the first shadow of the last eclipse. But she is the dangerous one. You have been warned.
He's wordy.
I am dragonborn, with great white hair and darkness around me.
Why do you need a bodyguard?
Why does anyone? Oblivion comes. What are you?
As you see,
What do I see?
black-skinned tiefling with cat eyes,
Oh.
and long black hair.
That is why you do not need a bodyguard. Watch this one.
I see. Everyone needs friends.
Ah,
As a bodyguard, do you pay well?
I'm the bodyguard.
No, but you're the one that needs bodyguards.
You're human. What do you have to offer?
For years, I fought in war, and I believed it was the right path. But now, after seeing many of my friends die and nothing change, all I want is enough gold to just retire and hang up my weapons for good.
He has seen Oblivion. I like this one. I will keep him as a pet.
I just study them corner. You'll see a female half-orc, very fit, tall, slender, brandishing 3 scimitars on her person. Fur of a wolf. She just watches all of you. Spits in a cup. Lets you talk.
Hey, sis.
Strong stereotype.
How are you related to an orc?
By the sisterhood. It's okay. I'll explain it later.
Very well.
Malcius has quite expensive clothing that is old and badly worn. Is it in this culture? Is it rude not to drink the tea?
Typically, you would drink the tea, but
I don't drink the tea.
don't drink the tea. No tea for you.
No, I am here to get my hands covered in blood and my purse filled with gold.
As you glance past, you see a tall, relatively gaunt human with a bit of a black mustache and goatee that's kind of bound right at the tip of the little puff at the bottom. His hair is a bit curly in front, and it's bound into a tight bun in the back. Wearing long robes over what looks to be a set of leather. He's wearing 2 daggers at his side, and he's clutching his freshly poured tea to his chest, like pretending not to pay attention to the rest of the group, and just kind of blowing on it to try and cool it off. It's a bit hot for his tastes. Hello, friends. I am Zal Jamsid. I am a follower of the light of Bushira, and not akin to working with others. So, apologies if I am not paying attention.
I don't blame you.
All right, so you all have a moment to take each other in, and you figure, obviously, these are the other folks who potentially answered this ad. Before you can say anything else to each other, a panel slides aside in the room, and from that darkened entryway steps a tall, slender figure in gray robes. The hood of his cloak drawn up, casting shadows over his face. But in the momentary flicker of the lamplight, it reveals that although he's wearing a hooded cloak, he's wearing a mask, a gray-colored mask as well to go along with his robes. He paces to the center of the room and he turns to address you. He says, "My name is Ninsunu. I represent the Brotherhood. We are your patrons for this quest. By your attendance here, I assume you all agree to standard guild practices, and none of what is revealed tonight will ever pass your lips again, or else you will never have a night of rest in Shantufi. Is this understood?"
Agreed?
Rest is overrated.
5 months ago, one of our leaders, Xenia, disappeared. Since her disappearance, we have focused great efforts to discover what has befallen her. We have ascertained that she is imprisoned by our longtime enemy, the Archmage and Elemental Master Akbar.